Hey, book lovers. Welcome to While I Read. I'm Katie, and today I'm getting started with a cozy reading vlog on two books that I am so excited to read. These are actually cozy mysteries that I have arcs of. So, one is A Body at the Book Fair by Ellie Alexander, which is the sixth book in the Secret Bookcase series. The other is The Rushworth Family Plot by Claudia Gray, which is the fourth book in the Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney series. I'm out of school for the summer. My daughter Sarah just graduated from kindergarten, so we are footloose and fancy free. So, in this vlog, I think I'm going to have some footage of us going to my mom's house and just hanging out. We are planning a trip to the library. We are planning a trip to the zoo. So I'm excited for you to come along with us for that. So, first, let me introduce A Body at the Book Fair by Ellie Alexander. So, this book, this series, is about Annie Murray, who is a bookseller at the Secret Bookcase, which is a bookstore in a small town in California called Redwood Grove. So, in each book, Annie has some mystery that happens. Someone at the bookstore or in Redwood Grove is murdered, and Annie has a background in criminology. She has a criminology degree. And so she ends up helping the law enforcement solve the murder. In Also in this series, there is a backstory for Annie, sort of an overarching plot for this series. When she was in college, actually on her graduation day, I believe, or right before graduation, her best friend Scarlett was murdered. And I believe that's been 10 years ago as the series is starting. And so Annie has never gotten over Scarlett's murder. This murder was never solved. It had to do with a cold case that Scarlett and Annie were investigating as part of their criminology degree. So, in each of the books in the series, Annie not only solves the murder that has happened, in present time, but she is also finding clues to Scarlett's murder. So it's just a really great series. In this book, the sixth one in the series, which I have read, is the final book in the series. Annie and Fletcher, who works with her at the Secret Bookcase and is also going into a partnership with her, starting a detective agency, they are going to a book fair in some other city in California. I can't remember where it is. I'm sad that it's not in Redwood Grove. It's interesting because when I was talking with Ellie Alexander, I don't know if y'all know this, but Ellie Alexander is my best friend. Okay, that's not really true, but I am working with her as a writing coach. And one of the things we were talking about is how readers get angry when a book is not set in the location that they love in a cozy mystery. Like if you have a series and it's set in a certain small town or whatever, and then you have a book that takes place in another area, readers get mad. And Ellie and I were talking about that, and I was laughing at it and saying, oh, no, I wouldn't do that. Well, now I'm reading the sixth book in her series. It's not in Redwood Grove, and I'm, a little angry about that. But I'm still reading it and still enjoying it. I'm actually about 30% into A Body at the Book Fair already, and it's so good. The beginning of it does take place at the Secret Bookcase, which I love. And then Annie and Fletcher go to this book fair that's for like booksellers. There are also some authors there, and it's at this nice hotel. And so there are a lot of scenes of them, sipping cocktails out by the pool, and all of Ellie's great descriptions of the food that they have, the drinks that they have, just all of the great sensory details that she includes in her books. And of course, there is a body. There's a guy there who is introducing this new, like, virtual reality e-reader that puts you into the location that you're reading about, and he is murdered at the book fair. And so Annie has to start figuring out who the murderer is. She's also looking into Scarlett's death, and she feels like she's had a big breakthrough in that. The area where they are for the book fair is near the business that Annie was looking into when she was killed. So I'm really enjoying this book so far. It's really good. I plan on doing some reading over the next few days, so I'm looking forward to y'all coming along with me. Hey everybody, welcome back. Just a quick reading update. So, we had a very busy weekend, which you've probably just watched some footage of. We went to my mom's house, we went to the zoo, we went for walks, we had fun. Here's Sarah because we're out for the summer. So, I finished reading A Body at the Book Fair, and it was so good. It was a 5-star read. It was really good, Sarah. So, this book is the conclusion to the Secret Bookcase series, which when I read that, I was like, but it can't be the conclusion. I love these characters. So I don't want to give you any spoilers, but I do have to say that there is going to be, we're going to get some more about these characters. This isn't really the end. Spin-off. So that's all I'll say. So at the book fair, someone is murdered. He's demonstrating this new like virtual reality headset that can like take you to the plots where, or to the places, the settings of books. And he is murdered while doing that. There are other booksellers who may have had reason to murder him. There are some competitors in his e-reader field. There are just all kinds of suspects. So Annie and Fletcher have to solve this mystery. Meanwhile, there's also the overarching mystery that's been taking place throughout this series of Annie's friend Scarlett, who was murdered 10 years ago. The place where the book fair is taking place is near the Silicon Summit, I think is the name of the company, where Scarlett, what she knows, she was investigating that company when she was murdered. So Annie is trying to solve that murder. And that's what happens in this series. That mystery of Scarlett's murder is wrapped up. Meanwhile, Annie and Fletcher are also starting their partnership, the Novel Detectives, that they're going to operate out of the secret bookcase. Isn't that cool? There's going to be a bookstore with a detective agency inside of it. So that sounds so cool. So I finished up that book. I really enjoyed it, gave it 5 stars. So next I'm going to start reading the 4th book in the Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney series, and that is the Rushworth family plot. So, Jonathan Darcy, the son of Elizabeth and Fitzwilliam Darcy from Pride and Prejudice, and Juliet Tilney, the son of Catherine and Henry Tilney from Northanger Abbey, met each other in the first book in the series, and in every book they work together to solve some kind of mystery that involves characters in Jane Austen's books. So it's a really cool series. We lost Sarah. She decided to go play. So, in this series, Juliet and Jonathan basically know that they love each other, but unfortunately, their families, for various reasons, just aren't in favor of them becoming a couple or them getting married. So, at the beginning of this book, it's been a year since Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney saw each other. They really miss each other, but their families are trying to find other eligible matches for them. So they both end up in London for the season. And of course, the season is like where, the fashionable people of London go. And for unmarried people like Jonathan and Juliet, this is where they go to find a spouse, basically. So they're both there. That I'm at about maybe 20% into the book at this point, and that's what's happened so far. They're both in London. They met each other unexpectedly at a ball, and we're so happy to see each other. So far, no murder has taken place, but I know that it will. So I'm looking forward to finishing up this book. I've got to go to work today, even though it's summer. I have some meetings that I have to attend. So I've got to do that, but hopefully I'll have some time to read during the day, and I'll give you another update soon. Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. So, full disclosure, it's like a week, maybe longer than that, since I last filmed for this vlog. Filming a vlog is hard because I have this goal of, okay, I'm going to read these two books and I'm going to do these things, but then other things come up in my life. And so I started reading the Rushworth family plot, and then I kind of put it down. I got busy with other things. It wasn't that the book wasn't good, but I just got really busy. And so now I'm going back to reading it. It's a really good book, and my plan is to get a lot of reading done today. It's a rainy day. I do have some things to do. My daughter Sarah has a doctor's appointment, and then we're going to go to my mom's house and spend the night with her, and my mom is going to keep Sarah tomorrow while I have to work. But during that time, I'm planning on getting a lot of reading done. So where I am in the book now. So Jonathan is staying with the Bertram family, Edmund and Fanny Bertram, who you might remember from Mansfield Park if you read that book. So Edmund and Fanny are just the sweetest couple to me. In this book, I think they're supposed to have been married for like 7 years. Fanny is, very sweet, very shy and retiring, but you do see that she has a very strong will when she feels like it's something that's important. One of the things I've really enjoyed about this book is that Fanny is going through grief. I won't tell you what that is because the synopsis of the book doesn't tell you, and I don't want to spoil anything, but the fact that I am also going through grief since my dad died a couple of months ago, reading about this character going through it, the description of it just seems very accurate to me. Fanny says at one point that she feels kind of like the world is just this dark, empty place where this person that she loves who died should be. And that's what I feel like sometimes. So it feels like a very honest portrayal of grief. That kind of makes the book sound like it's, sad. It's not really about Fanny's grief. Seems like a very minor subplot so far, but it's something that has just really resonated with me as I've been reading it. So this is a cozy mystery. So of course the main plot of it is that someone gets murdered. So the victim of the murder is Mr. Rushworth. So Mr. Rushworth in the original Mansfield Park, was married to Maria Bertram, Edmund's sister. But in a huge scandal, Maria ran away and left Mr. Rushworth for the notorious rake, Henry Crawford. Don't you love all these old fashioned words? So Maria and Henry Crawford lived together for a while, but they never got married. Shocking. And so, of course, the family, the Bertram family, had to just disown Maria completely because that scandal would just be too terrible for that family to, withstand. So, in this book, Maria is back, she's returned, and she now has a child. And she's claiming that that child is Mr. Rushworth's child. So she and Mr. Rushworth are, kind of maybe thinking about reconciling, but Henry Crawford is in the picture too. So then Mr. Rushworth turns up dead. So that's pretty much where I am now. Jonathan and Juliet have just discovered this murder, and so I'm sure soon they're going to start investigating things. So, of course, Henry Crawford will be a suspect. Probably some people in the Bertram family will be suspects. So, I can't wait to continue reading and see what Jonathan and Juliet get up to. Come on with me as I read on a rainy day and spend time with my family. So we're going on an adventure tonight. This is the cabin that my daddy was working on before he passed away. My mom had some people come out and help her, some very kind friends and family members, and the cabin is just about finished, and we're going to spend the night there tonight. Mama and Sarah and I'm going to do some reading, so it should be a cool adventure. Welcome back, everybody. It is Monday morning. I have taken Sarah to basketball camp, and I'm giving you my final update because I finished a Rushworth family plot over the weekend. It was a really good book. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. It wasn't perfect. I got a little frustrated by some things that happened. That's a personal preference thing. You might give it 5 stars. It was actually very exciting towards the end of the book. So you can see from the cover of the book that there's going to be a duel. And I was really surprised by the duel. I can't tell you any more than that, just that it surprised me. And it actually was a very exciting part of the book. The solving of the murder was very satisfying. I suspected a few things, but not everything. A few things took me by surprise. So I always like that when I kind of feel smart for figuring some things out, but I also get caught by surprise in a few things. I really liked how Fanny Bertram's plotline was wrapped up in this book. She was just a really good character, even though, of course, she's not one of the main characters in the book, but the wrapping up of her plot line was very satisfying to me. Again, I'd suspected a few things, but not everything, so I liked it. And then the romance between Jonathan Darcy and Juliet Tilney is still there. I'm afraid to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything. You know, that this whole series just has this slow burn romance. There were some things that satisfied me about that romance in this book, and there were some things that I was a little frustrated about. But obviously the author wants to keep that slow burn going. You know, she wants to keep us reading to find out what happens with Jonathan and Juliet. And I do feel like she's found some surprising ways to keep that romance from becoming stale, or to keep us from saying, "Oh, come on, just get together already." Like she's found some what I think are fairly realistic but also surprising ways to keep that romance going. To me, the books would still be good if Jonathan and Juliet were married and solving mysteries together, but obviously she wants to keep that slow burn romance going. So I'm definitely going to read the next installment in this series. This was a very good continuation of the Jonathan and Juliet series. So this was a very successful reading vlog, although it took longer to film than I was expecting just because I had so much going on and it was just hard to find time to read. But I did enjoy both of these books, A Body at the Book Fair and the Rushworth family plot. And of course, you may have seen that the author of A Body at the Book Fair, Ellie Alexander, is coming on my channel very soon on June 14th to talk about her writing and about the book and just any questions that you have for her. So let me know if you have any questions that you want me to ask Ellie Alexander. Please be sure to watch that vlog. Thank you for joining me for this. If you like book recommendations and reviews, mostly focusing on the mystery, cozy mystery, thriller genre, please subscribe to my channel. Now, you go enjoy the sunshine while I read.